but we would sneak away and often will get caught and scolded. My grandfather, he noticed us going about playing around in the fields. We tried to hide, but ultimately he found out and I was giving a good thrashing and scolded.
ਭਾਈ ਜੱਸਾ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਭਾਈ ਨਿਹਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ, ਇਹ ਆਪਾਂ ਨਿਰਣਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗੋਬਿੰਦ ਸਿੰਘ ਜੀ ਦੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ।
As a young boy, he watched local politicians stir up divisions between the communities for their own ends.
ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹੌਸਲੇ ਉਹ ਬੁਲੰਦ ਹੋਣੇ ਚਾਹੀਦੇ ਨੇ। ਸਤਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ।
They have to whip up the sentiments of the people, and the easiest way to whip up the sentiments of the people are to tell them that their religion is in danger, that is their community is in danger. What else would they tell? To hoodwink people, to get votes out of them, to get support out of them. The people had to be hoodwinked, and politicians do this.
Tension also increased in the Punjab's capital, Lahore. Student Somanand always had a lot of Muslim friends. They now refused to talk to him.
A class fellow of mine raised the Congress flag on the school building. The Muslims were very furious. Why? They also raised their Muslim League flag on the school building. So the tension increased. The distrust was already there under the surface. It was there for centuries, but now it came above the surface.
John Moores and his band of Gurkhas were now sent to Lahore to help the local police keep the peace.
We arrived in Lahore around about the 23rd of April. We already knew that there were rumblings going on for intelligence that had been passed to us, and we were briefed on that. And our first job was to get to know the city and how to get around it. We had orders that we were to stay armed, and you'd have to go to a dance or have dinner out somewhere with a 845 revolver strapped on, because there was already talk about people having reprisals.
In the villages of the Punjab, there were few British patrols. The Sikhs began forming jathas, armed bands. Many Sikhs had served in the British Army during the war and still had their weapons. These ex-soldiers began to train their Sikh brothers to prevent a Muslim takeover of the Punjab. Jatadar Shingara Singh had recently been released from prison where he served time for assault. He lived in a Sikh majority part of the Punjab.
A number of Muslims from our village had come down to see my grandfather and told him that they have heard rumors that certain people are getting together in adjoining villages to attack our village and other villages to kill the Muslims.
Aridaman Singh Dillon came from a long line of Sikh warriors. His ancestors had been imprisoned by the British. His grandfather, the village head, refused to join in the wave of communal violence.
A committee of Sikh, Hindu and Muslim people were created, and they were given small arms like lances and axes. We had a couple of guns. And the basic reason for doing this was to guard their own village against the people coming to loot the Muslims of that village and to guard their Muslim friends. And every night they would hold the patrolling throughout the village to guard the village and the Muslims.
Seeing the Sikh preparations for war, Muslim villagers decided to launch a first strike. In March 1947, Sikh villages around Rawalpindi came under attack.
झाड़ियाँ को बड़े आदमी दिसन लग पे अल्लाह अकबर या अली अक्का अल्लाह अकबर या अली नाल ही उन्होंने कुलाड़ियाँ होंदियां सन कुलाड़ियाँ उछाल रहे सन और बड़े मतलब यानी एग्रेसिव सन बड़े गुस्से विच सन जिस तरह कि सानू खाई जाणगे ते साडे वास्ते भी एक नवीं गल सी कि सदियां तो असीं उत्थे लोग रह रहे सन कि होया की है.
The Sikhs were heavily outnumbered by Muslims. Their biggest fear was that their women would be taken away, converted and raped.
एक मुसलमान सी गुलाम रसूल उदा नाम सी उसने एक लड़की दी डिमांड की थी कि एक लड़की मैनू दे दिओ ते असी सारे लोगों नू ओ बदमाश टाइप दा आदमी सी और असी सारे लोगों नू इत्थों हटा देंगे.
The women of the village went into hiding. Bir Bahadur Singh's father decided to act to save the honor of his village. His teenage son looked on.
10 साल तो लैके 40 साल दी तक ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸੁਨੱਖੀਆਂ ਸਨ ਸਾਡੇ ਇਲਾਕੇ 'ਚ ਬੜੀਆਂ ਔਰਤਾਂ ਸੁਨੱਖੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਸਨ ਪਹਾੜ ਦਾ ਨੀਮ ਪਹਾੜ ਦਾ ਇਲਾਕਾ ਸੀ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਸਭ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਆਪਣੇ थोड़ा आवाज मारी सब तो पहला अपनी बेटी नो मान बेटा आ जा. मेरी भैन मान कौर जिसदी मेरे को 2 साल वड्डी सी 18 और 19 साल की सी और बैठ गई. मेरे पिताजी ने खंडा जब कर लगे तो वो वार जड़ा सी वो लग्या ना वार लग्या ना रब जाने मुँह आ गया और की हो गया. मेरी बहन ने अपनी गुत्त इंज की थी और मेरे पिताजी ने बड़े गुस्से नाल उहदा दुपट्टा इंज कीता और मोरी कृपान और सिर वो परे सी पे. और दो चाचा भतीजा ने मेरे एक होर ताया जी भी उपर सन जिन्हों का काफ़ी बड़ा शरीर सी. उन्होंने सारिया ने कट्टना शुरू किया. खट 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 की आवाज़ आन सी. मैं यकीन जान के जाना 60 साल मैंने अज भी याद है किसी ने हाई नहीं की बस वाहगुरू की आवाज़ आती रही है. किसी ने हाई नहीं की कोई नस्सी नहीं किसी ने रोला नहीं पाया.
Such scenes were repeated throughout the western Punjab in March and April 1947. With the threat of all-out conflict, a deal became a matter of urgency. The Congress leader, Pandit Nehru, now had power within his grasp. But to get the British out quickly, he had to compromise. He abandoned his dream of a united India and accepted partition.
A statement will be read to you tonight, giving the final decision of His Majesty's government as to the method by which power will be transferred from British to Indian hands.
On the night of June 3rd, 1947, Mountbatten, Jinnah and Nehru broadcast the news that they had finally struck a deal. They would divide India in two.
I must honestly appeal to every community, and particularly to Muslim India, to maintain peace and order.